Welcome back, guys, to Pirate Talk Radio. It's season 14. We have finally made it to season 14, and this is supposed to be the most sneakiest season yet. We've got we got some previews, back when they did their big Xbox preview. We got some information leading up to it the past couple weeks, Sea of Thieves news, and a season 14 content, if you will, update that says what all we're getting. And then just recently, Thursday, we get season 14. So we have a lot to talk about here because, well, to say that season 14 came and it is everything that Rare has been promising, quality updates, clean, more content. I would say that it missed the board. We got some of that. We got some of the promises, but we didn't get everything. So we're going to dive through that. We got some Sea of Thieves news to talk about from Drew. Came out and brought up some main focuses of the teams right now, and made some promises. And then we got the content update promises, and then we got what actually happened. So yeah, let's dive into the last Sea of Thieves news. So Drew mentioned a few focuses. He said that the teams there, the main focus are three things, and that is game performance, anti-cheat, and player safety. We've heard this from them before. We've heard them talk about it, and I know they're working on it because certain things are improving. I haven't seen as much talk around the cheating. Again, the main form of cheating is happening in Hourglass, and I don't do Hourglass because it's a godforsaken awful game mode. But I haven't seen as much chatter around the cheating. It still exists. It's still out there. It's always going to exist. But I haven't seen as much. And Drew kind of talked about that a little bit. And he said there is an anti-cheat team dedicated to looking at the cheat software, the cheat tools that are being developed and being used. And he specifically said this team is quickly able to respond to these cheat tools before they become rampant. So the idea is they're going to have different systems inside Sea of Thieves in order to identify these cheat codes and be able to auto ban, perma ban, whatever the case may be, with the tools at their disposal, before these cheat issues become large scale issues like we've seen. So the idea is, again, to get on top of it. We're not going to stop the creation of cheat. It's just not going to happen, right? When you're a live service game with a competitive style system like Hourglass, cheating is going to exist. It's going to always exist. The biggest focus is making sure that it's quickly identified and then quickly addressed, and that particular cheat tool is harder to use or impossible to use, and those accounts associated with the tool is gone. So it seems like they're making progress here. Again, I don't take part in Hourglass, but usually people can see or they tweet about it, they put it on Reddit. It seems like that chatter has started to drop. So that means they're making progress. The next one that ties into that is player safety. And I agree with most of this. So first off, improved chat filtering. So the ability, and again, he mentioned that it's usually these cheaters through their tools that are causing these poor experiences and negative chat experiences and toxicity for other players. And I would say that's accurate because it's really simple to turn off text chat in game, which mine's off. Unless you're on my crew, you can't use voice towards me, nor can you text chat. I won't see any of it. And I do that just because I could care less what other people have to say to me. So improved chat filtering around these cheat tools is, I think, a very good idea because, again, you've got kids out there who are playing, you've got people out there like myself who could care less about the toxicity and bullshit that people want to spew, and I just don't want it on my screen, so I turn it all off. But again, cheaters have ways of getting around that. So it's good that they're looking on improved chat filtering, and auto chat bans was the next one, which is the ability for them to quickly identify people who are utilizing chat and cheating tools to get this toxic behavior gone. Both of those are good. Now, the next one down is prevent stream sniping. Now, this one is comical to me. This one is comical because I find it hilarious, and I find this hilarious in all aspects of streaming, by the way. It's not just Sea of Thieves. I find it comical. League of Legends, Valorant, Overwatch, any sort of game that stream sniping is a possibility. I find it hilarious that streamers complain about stream sniping. You are a streamer. You make your money entertaining people. If someone finds it entertaining to figure out ways how to get on your server and make your gaming experience awful, turn it into content. Just turn it into content. I've been stream sniped before, and I am not a big streamer, and I just crack up that anyone would want to waste their time to get on my server on any game just to mess with me. I find it hilarious. I find it comical. But apparently Sea of Thieves has a hard-on out there for their content creators, even though with the launch of Season 14, most of their big and even positive content creators have been giving them and reading them their rights because of how bad this update has been. It's just funny that you would take now if it crosses the line and you're now going into doxing, if you're going into personal threats, if you're going into personal attacks and things like that, that's another level, right? That's now criminal activity. But if someone is just figuring out ways to get on streamer servers to annoy them, really, we're going to waste precious development time to deal with that? Like, come on. Streamers are big boys and girls. They can handle it themselves. They're professional entertainers, or should be. And if they have someone they suspect of stream sniping, just change your damn server. It's just log off, change the server, make sure that you're not letting people know. You can put up things on the screen when you're queuing in. You can have someone else queue in for you. You could do a whole bunch of things to prevent people from knowing exactly when you're on a server and what servers you're on. It's people will find you if they want to find you, but just come on. That's a waste of time. Again, if we're talking about doxing and things like that is a law enforcement thing. That is not a Rare Studios thing. All right. That is, it's funny to me that Rare is going to spend the time to actually put effort into stream sniping. It's just hilarious to me. And in fact, it's hilarious to me that any game would spend that time. It's just comical. So that one's whatever, but the other ones I agree with. The changes to the chat is something that I agree with and should be put in place to protect people, and allow people to utilize the systems in place in order to not hear people and not read their text. And if people are getting around that, completely understand, and I appreciate Rare for taking action on that. And finally, game performance. Now, this is something that I've been calling for a while. It's something the entire community has been calling for a while. And that is their main focus right now is they've identified that one of the biggest issues causing game performance is when ships are loading into servers. So now with Hourglass, now with the diving to different events, you have more ships entering servers and exiting servers. And Drew mentioned that they've identified a major performance issue that is compounded as ships come and go from servers. When one of your major features is diving, when one of your major features is the ability to go into a server or exit a server based on whatever thing you're working on, that is a problem. That is a huge problem. And so I'm glad that they're actually looking at that and they're going to take the time to figure that out. He mentioned it's going to take him some time, but I'm glad that they've at least identified something and let us know that they've identified something that is causing some of these issues and they're focused on resolving it. Now, the next statement he made was actually laughable based on season 14. So he says, we are also striving to make sure updates are top quality. And he mentioned that the latest update in September was admittedly bad and did not meet their quality standards. And I don't want to sit here and beat a dead horse, but I'm glad that they are focused on quality updates as far as how the update rolls. But you're preaching to the choir if you're going to sit here and tell players, well, that one didn't live up to our standards. We've heard you say that, Drew, multiple times. Well, this update didn't live up to our standards. Well, this release didn't live up to our standards. Well, this update didn't quite hit the mark with our players because of the quality issues. Dude, we hear you. We know. We're playing it. We're struggling with it. We're suffering. Just fix it. I don't want to hear the apologies anymore. I don't want gold hoarder voyages of I'm sorry. Fix the issue. I don't care what it takes. Just fix the damn issue. Clearly, as we're going to talk about in season 14, the comments from Mike Chapman of we can't just spend time to work on quality and game performance, we also have to make new content in order to keep people engaged. Well, guess what, Mike? You've now proven with season 14 that you can't do either. You can't create a quality update which fixes game performance, and you definitely can't hit your promises of new content. There is apparently a emergency vehicle outside because I'm getting, my blood pressure's going up talking to Rare. They're not coming for me, I swear. But and we'll get into season 14 here in a few minutes, but I'm tired of hearing the apologies from Rare. I'm tired of hearing we understand that this didn't hit the mark. We're sorry. We're going to work on it. If you're going to work on it, then work on it and fix it. Don't continue to apologize to us because you're failing at your job. Do not tell us you can't you can't focus on quality because you also have to make new content when you can't do quality or new content. It's very clear about that in season 14. We didn't get the content you promised us, and we got a whole bunch of quality issues, which we're going to talk about. It's just a joke. I'm tired of hearing this song and dance from Rare that goes on update after update, month after month, season after season, year after year. It's the same, we're sorry, we're working on it, we can't do that because of this. Just focus on something and get it right. Just get it right. I don't care what you get right. Either get the content right or get the fixes right, but don't continue to fail at both, because that is what you're doing and that is what you're continuing to do. No matter what you're saying you're working on, you're continuing to fail at both. And that is a problem, and that is hurting your game. That is absolutely hurting your game. You can see it in the numbers, and I know people hate when I say Steam charts. Look it up. Look it up. Your game is falling apart. You could put on your website all you want. 40 million players. Look at your achievements. There is not a damn chance that you have 40 million active players. You may have had 40 million people install the game, but what you should really be broadcasting is how many active players you have. How many players are at least playing this game an hour a week? How many players are at least playing this game 5 hours a month? That's what you should broadcast, but you don't want to broadcast that number because it's in the toilet. It's a piece of garbage. It's gross. It's gross. So stop apologizing, stop saying we're working on it, and actually fix it. I don't want to hear it anymore. I'm just over hearing the empty promises and empty words. Actually do something. The fact that we are now in season 14, the fact that I am recording this, let's see here, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. It is now Sunday after the launch of Season 14, and we still have major issues caused by Season 14's launch, and they are not actively shutting the servers down each day to work on it. That's a joke, and it's an embarrassment. These servers should have been taken down Thursday when the patch launched and they found out that all these broken things either got introduced into the game or are causing issues. They should have shut it down Saturday if it still wasn't fixed. They should have shut it down today if it still wasn't fixed. But you know what? Let's do what Rare always does with Sea of Thieves. Let's ship it out there. Let's ship out a piece of shit and then let it sit there and let players get pissed off and stop playing while we just kick back and enjoy drinks over the weekend. No. Take the damn servers down and get your shit fixed so we can actually have a quality update that has all the features promised intact and working without old features and bugs and exploits being reintroduced. How about we do that? As you've heard from the time that I've been doing this show, I've said for quite some time that Rare needs a shakeup and a change in high level leadership because clearly the leaders at Rare are not doing their jobs. We got word about a week ago that there are changes coming to the leadership of Rare. They weren't the ones that I thought, and they're definitely not the ones I wanted. So, for those of you who are not aware, Craig Duncan, nice guy, he is now, he was the studio director, so over all of Rare Studios. He is now no longer over all of Rare Studios. He is now over all of Microsoft Studios. So, he is now over all Xbox Studios everywhere. Craig's a nice dude. But he allowed Sea of Thieves to continue down a path of shit quality development, shit updates, and watching players get hemorrhaged away. He is now in charge of all Xbox Studios. He failed at Rare. Why is he being promoted to all of Xbox Studios? Maybe he's going to, maybe now over Xbox, maybe he's going to have to report to someone who's going to force him to actually do his job. But clearly, he failed at Rare because, yes, he has more responsibilities at Rare than Sea of Thieves. But Sea of Thieves is their flag mark ship, right? Or flag mark, their captain ship of the studio right now. They have a lot of great IPs over the years. But Sea of Thieves is their big boy right now. And he allowed it to just tank over the years because of poor leadership development under him, poor leadership driving the product under him. He didn't get rid of them then. He didn't put the people in the right places to take care of it. And now he is over all of Xbox Studios. Like I said, Craig Duncan is a very nice dude. He's very knowledgeable about the industry, but I cannot see why Xbox and Microsoft would promote him when he has allowed what has happened at his own studio. Why would you promote someone over all of your studios if he can't even keep his house in order? Seems like a pretty stupid promotion, if you ask me. But then again, that's corporate America. And yes, Rare is not in America, but Microsoft is, so it's corporate America. So who fills in for Craig now that Craig will be over all Xbox Studios? Well, that would be the one and only Joe Neate. And though, again, Joe Neate is a nice guy, I've enjoyed my conversations and meeting Joe Neate. Again, he has been the executive producer from Sea of Thieves since its inception and has continued to allow poor development, poor quality assurance, and poor code to be pushed through. Now, maybe this promotion will allow someone else to come in and be the executive producer of Sea of Thieves who is actually going to get shit done and actually going to get this game to a state that it should have been in a long time ago if the appropriate decisions are being made. Hopefully, that's the case. Based on the fact that they promoted Craig and promoted Joe, who I believe, though great people, have both failed at their jobs, I don't see that happening. They're probably going to put someone in place who is already part of the Sea of Thieves team, who is already part of the problem. I don't know if it'll be Mike Chapman or Drew Stevens. I don't know. But someone will probably be put into that place, not someone from the outside. Someone internally will go into that position, and they will continue down the road that Joe has already paved and that Craig has paid for Joe to pave. That's how it's probably going to be based on what I'm seeing. And I don't see that going well. Maybe there's someone there, maybe Drew Stevens, in fact. I personally like that Drew is actually facing us and he's getting on camera and he's talking about things. That's a lot more than Joe's been doing for the past year. So maybe Drew is the right person. Maybe getting Drew out from under Joe's thumb as far as the direction of where the game is going, maybe that will fix it. I don't know, but I just don't see the direction of these leadership changes. I just don't see how you could promote two people who, in all honesty, have failed to higher positions and responsible for more stuff. It just doesn't make sense to me. I hope I'm wrong. I truly hope I'm wrong. And like I said, I think Craig's a great person. I think Joe's a great person. I think they have a lot of industry knowledge and a lot of experience, but they've just made poor choices and allowed poor choices to happen under their watch, killing one of their biggest IPs and one of Microsoft's biggest IPs. And it doesn't make sense that they're then promoted to taking care of more responsibilities and more IPs. It just doesn't make sense to me. But that is the case, and that is where we're at. The people who I'm not concerned about, and those who I treasure dearly, are our notorious and our glorious patrons. And I want to take a moment, as we do every episode, and thank them. L Cute, I Geffus, Big Bad Pad, Jammer Gamer. See, I got it. Damn it. Jammer Gamer. I screw that one up all the time. Literally, I've been saying James for the longest time. And that it's because it's so close to James, but it's not James. It's Jammer Gamer. And I've screwed it up forever. I actually sent them a message, a personal DM, apologizing that I've fucked up their name for so many times. But anyways, Jammer Gamer and Skemelt666. Thank you all for your support. If you're interested in supporting my content, specifically Pirate Talk Radio, make sure you go over to patreon.com/DavrimTV. And remember, if you are at a certain tier, it is the $10 a month tier, you get a holiday card, and this year a special gift for me, which will be a luggage tag. It'll be it's like a parachute tag, actually, not like a luggage tag you can write your name on. And on one side it'll say Pirate Talk Radio, and the other side it will have your gamer tag that you have in the Patreon here. So get that in there, because in order to be qualified for that, you have to have 2 months of subscribed at that tier. So if you are not subscribed at that tier by November 1st, you're going to miss out on this really cool holiday gift. So make sure you get over there, patreon.com, check out all the different tiers available. All of it goes directly to support this podcast and my content. But if you hit the $10 a month or higher, you're going to get that cool luggage tag along with a personalized holiday card from me. Thank you again to the patrons. You guys are amazing. You guys make this just a great show that I enjoy doing whenever life isn't kicking me in my testicles. So thank you. So let's talk about the features of season 14. And we're going to start by talking about the features which were promised. Very different than what we got. So features that were promised: Murfroot, grapple gun, blow darts, disguises, hanging from ledges on ships, and traps. Okay, so those were the features that were promised. So the Murfroot is something that people have been asking for quite some time, which is the ability to munch down on a piece of fruit. And when you munch down on that piece of fruit, your mermaid goes away, which is great when you're trying to board or you're trying to get sneaky on a ship or something like that. But it goes away. So they've added this new fruit where it looks like a dragon fruit. And when you cook it, it turns from a merfruit into a enchanted merfruit. It'll temporarily disable your mermaid when you're out and away from your boat. Cool feature. Made it into the game. Good job. Good job, Rare. You're 1 for 1. You're 1 for 1 on your key features making it into Season 14. Grapple Gun. Grapple Gun was a highlight in their big Xbox showcase in their preview for the upcoming seasons. The grapple gun allows you to traverse by shooting the grapple thingy. It hits something, you pull to it, or it pulls it back to you. Grapple gun, pretty cool. Allows you a different way of boarding galleons. You can shoot over the galleon, grapple down on it. That feature, however, is not supposed to work on sloops or brigantines. Only the galleon does. Can you grapple down on? But the other ones, the two smaller ships, does not allow. I think they could have allowed it on the brigantine, but the sloop I agree with, and I understand a lot of people are probably butthurt about that. Why is the sloop any different? Well, when you got solo sloopers and you got people shooting over top and grappling down, that could be overwhelming pretty quickly and unfair. Grapple gun, made it in. Now, there are some issues with the grapple gun. I will call that out right now. It is janky as hell. So when you shoot out of a cannon and you try to grapple gun to something, the rope is going all over the place. It's not pulling you cleanly. The character's flight animation looks like he's just standing there and like, and then on top of that, weirdly and on occasion, when you reach your destination, your character just automatically spins 180 degrees, which is super weird. So, but it's in the game. The grapple gun, though janky and kind of weird at times, is in the game. We're 2 of 2. Okay. Blow darts. Blow darts in the game. Actually kind of cool. I was actually playing a few hours yesterday just to kind of test some of the features, test the servers, to make sure I could finish this episode. I had a lot of fun with the blow darts. In fact, my loadout of choice was blow dart and sword, and I was having a lot of fun switching between the lure darts and having the skeletons attack their own captain, and the explosive darts blowing up players with them, and the poison darts. It was a lot of fun. I thought they performed well. I thought they aimed well. Now, I don't have any of the skins for the blow darts, and I've heard on some streams that, well, some of them don't aim weird, like the what is supposed to be the iron sight on them is a little off. The default blowgun, I think, is quite good. I was able to figure out exactly where that iron sight is and shoot. So really cool. I thought it was a lot of fun. I like the blowguns. So they're in the game. Hey, three out of 3. Hey, Rare, you are knocking it out of the park. 3 out of 3. Disguises. And this is disguises. In my notes, I have disguises / crouching because they go hand in hand. So the crouching thing, my character is a fat pirate. And the crouching thing looks kind of goofy on my pirate, but then again, I should expect that because everything looks goofy on the fat pirates. I mean, hell, when we put a belt on, it looks like we're wearing a 2x4 that's been wrapped around our gut. So, I mean, I guess I should be, yeah. So, when you're crouched down, you have a new radial menu. And by default, you get a seafarer's chest or a barrel. And you can put the barrel or jump in the seafarer's chest, and then you look like a piece of loot or a barrel, and you can wobble around and kind of sit there. Now, what I will say is the cool part about these disguises, unlike the old barrel hide, these barrels are closer to the size of the ship barrels, closer to the size of the barrels in the game. Your character is fully engulfed in them. So, for example, my character, the fatter pirate, when he used the barrel hide emote before, you would see parts of his butt, parts of his clothing, like his jacket, hanging out different sides. So, therefore, I wasn't completely hidden in the barrel hide emote. Now, my character is completely hidden in it. The barrels are closer to the size of the in-game barrels, which means it's harder to spot if they're not moving. And furthermore, unlike the barrel hide, where the barrel stays still and the boat moves around it, so you can clearly see what barrel's the fake one, the barrel hide emote, because it's like part of your pie, the barrel hide emote moves with the ship. So it's much harder to identify people in the barrel hide. Personally, I think this disguise with the crouch and the barrel, well done. Well done. It was executed well done. It was executed like they should have executed the barrel hide back in the day and failed to do so. This one worked. Hey, we're 4 out of 4. This sounds like a good update, right? 4 out of 4. We're hitting the promises. We're hitting them quality. We're doing good. Hold my beer, Rare says. Hold my beer. One of the key features of this update, which they promised multiple times, traps. Unfortunately, traps were disabled on day one because they were causing bad server performance and the servers to, quite frankly, break. So traps were disabled. So we can't really talk about what traps are going to be like or how traps feel in the game because we haven't got to really do anything with them because day one they were disabled before they even saw the light of day. Same thing with hanging from ledges of ships. They were also disabled and they were not added to the live release that we could participate in. Again, I know there's been some statements by Rare as far as server performance and these things weren't ready and blah, 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 blah. Look, these were key features of your update. Look, you didn't work on your quality that much. Because, you still have janky grapple guns, and we're going to get to the bonus features that were introduced into the game. And I say bonus because they were definitely not planned. Here's the thing. You gave us some bonus features, which most people will be pissed off about. And 2 of your key features that were highlighted by your content update in your Sea of Thieves news and by the Xbox preview somehow missed the board. So how you introduced us some bonus features and didn't get your core features in there, that's pretty shit if you ask me. So let's talk about what our bonus features are. So right now we're 4 for 6, right? So we're 4 for 6 as far as features that were promised versus features that we actually got. So if we do the math as of right now, if we do 4 divided by 6, currently Rare is at a 67% success rate, which if you're in the United States, that's a D, pretty close to 50%, or, we're slightly above 50%, which would be failing. So they're succeeding. They have a D, I guess, they're tired of giving us the D, so we'll give them the D this time. So let's talk about 2 unexpected features from the past that got reintroduced in Season 14. Let's start with an oldie but a goodie. One that every PvP player loved and every PvE player hated. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, after being gone successfully for the better part of a year, wall banging has returned to the Sea of Thieves. That's right. You can now shoot through the walls and steps and everything in your ship, just like ye olden days, and kill people through the ship. Wall banging has returned in its gloriousness. Here's the thing. I never really liked wall banging when it existed. It didn't make sense with the historical accuracy of the weapons. It's not how the weapons would have worked back in the day, and that's how it was quoted as why they were removing it. I don't really give a shit why they say they removed it, but it was removed for a good reason, and just like so many other features that they deemed is not part of our game that they've removed, guess what? Wall banging can be added to the list of things that have snuck back in because of piss poor coding. What else has been introduced, Davrim? What else you say? What else? What else? This one hasn't been gone for that long. This one is something that just got removed, maybe 6 months ago, maybe 3 months, no, probably 6 months ago. Quick swapping, the old school, technically quick swapping didn't ever disappear. Quick swapping has still been in the game. It's just harder to do now. But now the old school fast quick swapping where you could get shot with a blunder, knocked back, and quickly shot by another gun before you have any time to react is back. It's now back to the state that it was when it was deemed to be cheating and exploiting, and it is now back and in full force in the game. So 2 features of which Rare has determined are exploits and a problem in the game, they have allowed to sneak back in. And like I said, it's been 4 days since they released the game. Clearly these features that they deem to be exploiting and problems in their game aren't really that big of a problem because they're still in there as of me playing yesterday, and there's no note for them as far as removing them. So there you go. Quick swapping and wall banging, the old tried and true favorites. They're back, but, don't use them because they're not meant to be there. That's the rule, right? Like, Rare took them out of the game. Their shitty code reintroduced them, but don't use them. Don't use them because you'll be on the no-no list because they let them back in the game and you're going to... Anyways, either way, I would strongly suggest avoiding quick swap and avoiding wall banging because as we've seen in the past, Rare has came down on people who, even though their code has allowed these problems to be back into the game, they have came down on you as far as a punishment. Now, why, as I've stated again, the servers have been up for 4 days and these major things that have been taken out of the game over a year ago are being allowed to sit here and stew. Well, there's holiday times and vacation time and they worked 3 months on this update and, now they got to work on something else and they'll get it addressed, I'm sure, in a reasonable amount of time. So there you go. So I think we should take away 2 points. Even though we were 4 for 4 and then we were 4 for 6. I think we should take away 2 points because they allowed 2 pretty big problems to be reintroduced in the game. So now if we take their 4 points and we deduct 2, we're now 2 divided by 8. So we're now at a 25% success rate on this particular update. Now, here's a good one. Now with crouching, you can have something on your back. Just like when you would normally, like when you're climbing up a ladder, right? Well, when you're crouching, you can have a piece of loot on your back. You can crouch and get into cannons with a piece of loot on your back. A keg is a piece of loot. So you can now get in a cannon with a keg on your back, fire yourself into the air, and proceed to drop the keg on an enemy ship. Because somehow, the firing force of a cannon does not explode the keg on your back. Somehow, even though the cannon barrels aren't even big enough for my pirate, somehow I can strap a keg to my back and fit into the cannon. And even though the gunpowder goes off and launches me into the sky, and we can call that pirate magic, somehow the keg doesn't explode. Even though if you look at a keg wrong, they explode. So, there you go. Now you can basically become, artillery in this game. And just crouch up with a keg in your back pocket and fire yourself over an enemy ship, light the keg, and drop it. So we're going to take another point off. So now we're up to 9. So we're at a 1 out of 9 now for this update. So we'll divide that out. We'll give them 11% success on this update so far. Okay, 11%. They're currently at a 1 out of 9 because, again, their unintended features are bullshit and bad. and they still haven't fixed it. Had they fixed it, how they took servers down on a Friday and a Saturday and got this stuff fixed, I would have looked the other way. But because yet again they have allowed these issues to continue long after they should have, long after other live service games would have shut their servers down and fixed major game-breaking issues, I'm deducting points. So good job on Murfruit, Grapple Gun, Blow Darts, Disguises. Well, you didn't get your two big features in. You allowed wall banging back. You allowed quick swapping to be back. And you put in the ability to fire kegs out of cannons. God damn it. So let's talk about a positive. We talked about a couple negatives now. Let's throw a positive in there. Played for a couple hours yesterday. Had fun with the blow dart. Had fun doing some Veil missions. You know what felt really good? The servers. I was not rubber banding. Mobs weren't rubber banding. I was not getting hit with any sort of lag spikes. Servers felt good. Now, normally Rare does have good feeling servers, and right after an update, but servers felt good. I was surprised. I was pleasantly surprised. So let's give Rare a point on that. So now we're going to be 2 success points out of 10 possible points. Rare is now at a 20% success rate on this update. Okay. I was pleasantly surprised, and I hope that whatever they've done, this server stability remains. And we continue to have this positive server stability throughout the length of the update. I'm like sacrificing a goat and praying to the gods that this happens. I am not hopeful that it will. I'm guessing that as they fix these bigger issues, that server stability will go down. But maybe they finally figured that out. Maybe the game performance team is going to figure that out and make sure that as they fix these stupid ass things that they allowed to creep back into the game, maybe, just maybe, they'll stay good. But for right now, server performance feels pretty good. But where could we be when we talk about a positive about server performance? Where could we be without talking about a negative? Now, in the past, we've had this bug that has been going on and quote unquote fixed and then comes back with a vengeance, usually every single update. And that is the Merchant Alliance supplies. Now, if you haven't experienced this, then you haven't been playing much Sea of Thieves when it comes to the Merchant Alliance supplies. The bug, if you're not familiar with that, is if you purchase supplies and you go to claim them, they don't give them to you. Now, there's a couple little ways around it that if you go to the shipwright and buy something, you can then go back to the Merchant Alliance and they might hand them to you. That has been an ongoing bug for months now that they've never been able to get their hands around and fix. I am pleased to tell you that if you buy Merchant Alliance supplies now, they will hand them to you. That's a positive, right? That's a positive. They will hand them to you. That's amazing. But in the process of handling to them, they will lag the entire server, and the entire server will have a moment of standstill and everything will freeze and then move again. But you get your supplies. You get your supplies. So you get your supplies, you just cause everyone else in the entire server to have a moment of shit gameplay. So we're going to deduct half a point for that because at least they got the supplies fixed. So that's a 1.5 out of 11. So season 14, 4 days in, Rare, you get I'll even round up for you. You get a 14% success rate on season 14. I didn't even do this math ahead of time. I did not do that math ahead of time. It came out to 13.6. In fact, as I was going through and doing this little rating system, that was off the top of my head. I was just going to present each feature as it was. I wasn't going to give or deduct points, but I thought it would be kind of fun to see where it landed. And the fact that we were just in season 14, and at the end of all that math, additions and deductions, 13.6 rounded up. 14% success rate for season 14. Holy shit, I'm a god. I couldn't have planned that better if I tried. You know what? Sometimes my crazy antics and sometimes my weird things that I come up with often. See, this is why I call it pirate talk radio, because just like regular talk radio, sometimes you just go with an idea. Sometimes it plays out, other times it doesn't. And this time it freaking played out. And that was cool. And it worked. So I'm hoping that season 14 turns out to be success. I'm kind of nervous that they've introduced some a new weapon and a new tool, especially since they were still balancing the previous edition of the weapons with the existing weapons. I do think adding these tools, adding this new weapon, I think was a little rushed. But what else are they going to do? What else are they going to do? I mean, the season 13, all that they added was the burning blade. They didn't really add anything more than the burning blade. Oh, and by the way, if you're looking for the chest of fortune, don't look in the Fort of the Damned. It didn't make it there. Flame's Heart still has it. It's still on the burning blade. He decided that he didn't like Grey Marrow that much. They had some beef in the past, I hear, and so he said, "Screw you, Grey Marrow. I'm keeping the chest. It's still mine. I don't want to give you a turn." So if you're looking for the chest of fortune, season 14, as of right now, Flameheart still has it on the burning blade. I know there was some misleading information, in the patch notes for season 14. Someone in there said something about it was going to be in the Fort of the Damned. Clearly, the folks at Rare did not consult with Captain Flameheart, our Lord and Savior, and he had other plans for that chest. So just be aware, it's still on the burning blade. Our Lord and Savior still has it. If you're looking in the Fort of the Damned, you're not going to find it. Rare didn't consult with Captain Flameheart before they put out their release notes, so just be aware of that. Anyways, season 14. First 4 days. Server is good. Overall promises and execution by Rare, pretty pathetic. But at this point, we should just expect that, to be honest. Until they prove us otherwise, I hope they get to that point. But right now, they just continue to disappoint. Every single update, they continue to disappoint. So, folks, thank you as always for listening. I was happy to finally get to sit down and record this episode. The past 2 weeks have been even worse than the previous weeks that I've been talking about on the show about how bad work is and stuff. So past 2 weeks were pretty bad. So I was glad that I found some time today to sit down, record my thoughts and my episode. I hope everyone is doing well out there. I hope everyone's gearing up for Halloween. If you are geared up for Halloween and you're going to go and do something crazy cool, be safe out there. Send some pictures into the Discord of your Halloween costume. I'd love to see what everyone's dressing up as if you're going to any parties or anything like that. So take care of yourselves, guys, and each other. And I will see you next time on Pirate Talk Radio.